What is the best way for MCU fans to enjoy their journey to Avengers Endgame? That is right here, Journey to Avengers Endgame, the YouTube series where we're going to review all the movies from Iron Man 1 up until Avengers Endgame. Then we're going to rank them all from the worst to the best on this YouTube channel, talking with Jay Spring. So subscribe, hit that bell, you don't want to miss a thing. Let's get straight into it. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, talking with Jay Spring. I'm your host Jay, giving you a video on the channel today. We are continuing our journey to Avengers Endgame with the next movie review for Captain America the First Avenger. If you've missed what we've done so far, there is a playlist. There'll be a link in the description, annotation at the end of the video, or card throughout the video for the MCU playlist. Tuesday's upload will be the Avengers 1 review on the channel as well, so you don't want to miss that. So let's just get straight into my movie review. Captain America the First Avenger is an action-adventure sci-fi movie about 2 hours and 5 minutes long. This was released on the 29th of July 2011, the same year which Thor was released. Rotten Tomatoes have given this a 80%, IMDb giving it a 6.9 out of 10, as well as Metacritic giving it a 66. At the outset of World War II, Steve Rogers wants nothing more than to join the army. The only problem is that he can't pass the physical test. He's tried several times under different names without success. Dr. Abraham Erskine notes his eagerness and recruits him to an experimental project. Rogers is soon transformed mentally and physically into a super soldier named Captain America, where he eventually faces off against a Nazi organization named Hydra and its head known as the Red Skull. We have Chris Evans playing as Steve Rogers and Captain America in this movie. He really put his foot stamp right in this movie to kick off the Captain America trilogy. So Chris Evans playing really well as Steve Rogers throughout this movie. Steve throughout this movie you really fall in love with as a character from the beginning till the end. He doesn't change. No matter how big or how small he was in this movie, he is still the same character. The only thing that changes about him is his relationship status. We'll talk about that later on, obviously, in this review. But Chris Evans really takes Steve's character's role and I think he made it his own. I don't think it was something that was just gifted to him and it wasn't like they was just injecting Steve Rogers into his veins. I think he actually lived the character. He lives and breathes the character throughout all the movies I've seen in the MCU of Captain America and Steve Rogers. He really takes their roles personal and performs it outstandingly every single time I've seen him on the screen. Next up, we have Hayley Atwell playing as Peggy Carter, obviously the lover of Steve Rogers / Captain America in the end of this movie, but starting off really being harsh on him because she sees the potential in this guy. No matter how small or how big, a lot of people doubted this guy, but Peggy from the beginning knew that this guy is special. She believed in him, and that's the perfect role she played in this movie. Hayley really took this role on really well. The main thing with her was the connection with Steve. Obviously, she had a demanding role as one of the higher people in the army, but I think her as with Steve and Captain America, that was the main part of the story. Next up, we have Sebastian Stan playing as Bucky Barnes in this film. First off, we see Bucky in this movie as the bigger version compared to Steve Rogers. Obviously he's small and skinny, and obviously Bucky's picking up all the women, and then obviously it's vice versa at the end of the movie. I really like that because you see Bucky's reaction obviously to being the extra out of the two. I really liked Bucky's performance in this movie because you really got to see a emotional side of Bucky compared to what we've seen in the future of the MCU. He really cares about Steve. He really likes to protect Steve when he was small, and I really liked that. It was sort of like a brotherly connection there. You really instantly felt that. Next up, we have Tommy Lee Jones playing Colonel Chester Phillips. I think he really played well throughout this movie. He was the comedy part for me. He really didn't really like Steve in the beginning, and a lot of the other boys in the movie that actually were in the army. I think he really pressed them hard. He was the type you knew was a complete arse, and you knew you've really got to win him over. He was one of them type people, but his comedic side in this movie really made the movie flow really well. I really liked his relationship with Steve and Captain America in the end, obviously knowing how good he really is in the end, helping him along the way with Peggy and obviously Bucky and stuff like that. I think he was a crucial part of the movie throughout. And I really did enjoy him being in this movie. And last but not least, we have Hugo Weaving playing as Johann Schmidt, as well as the Red Skull. Now, a lot of people have given a lot of criticism to the Red Skull's performance in this movie. By no means it was Hugo Weaving's fault in this movie. I thought his performance was outstanding throughout the movie. He really looked like that crazy scientist guy that really took that role on, and as a leader of the Hydra organisation. I really did enjoy his performance. I really do like him playing as the Red Skull. It's just such a shame that the people behind the screen really didn't do well with that character and portray it as well as they could have. When I rate my movies, guys, I like to look at 4 things: the storyline, the script and the dialogue, the directing and the editing. And under editing, I look at the pacing of the movie, the music and the visuals. So let's get straight into the storyline. The storyline from the beginning to the end was pretty simple to follow. You had your subplot points throughout the movies for the different characters that were alongside Steve and Captain America, but the story was pretty simple. It was about Steve becoming Captain America and basically facing the Nazi organisation Hydra, obviously in the Red Skull. Next up, we have the script and the dialogue. Now, the script and the dialogue throughout the movie was pretty simple. Obviously, you have your catchphrases like "I can do this all day" and stuff like that. You have all that throughout the movie. I think the script and dialogue through most of it was pretty good. I think the comedic side, obviously, of the Colonel was great. I think Peggy's side of it, the strictness and the love life she had with Steve was great. I think Hugo Weaving's craziness and the scientific attitude, I really enjoyed that. And obviously it's Chris Evans as well, just outstanding. I don't think the script or the dialogue in this movie was at fault at all. Next up, we have the directing. Now, the directing, as I've mentioned, had a few issues, if I'm personally honest. I think this movie could have been outstanding. Now, this is the director's vision of this movie. I think it's got a great storyline. You can see the potential with this movie, but it could have been better. And I think the director's vision for the Red Skull was the main problem in this movie. If he looked at that character and really tried to bring him to the screen a bit more, I think he portrayed his power and his intelligence. But just the character alone, I don't think he was in the movie a lot. I think we should have seen a lot more of him as the bad guy. It was all Steve throughout the movie. And I think even Peggy Carter got a lot more screen time than the Red Skull. Last but not least, we have the editing. So the pacing of the movie, throughout the movie, the first half was pretty slow, let's be honest. But that was because of the storyline. That was the crucial part. Once it got to the middle of part of the film where Steve becomes Captain America, the pace starts going forward and lifting up through the movie. That's the part I really enjoyed throughout the most of the movie. But it doesn't mean to say the pacing of the movie was bad at all. Now, the music of this movie was really enjoyable throughout the movie. It really set the tone throughout the movie. You had them heroic type music, you have the downfall, evil type music when it was of the Red Skull. I really did enjoy it. Next up, we have the visuals. Now, the visuals, the only thing I could say was not terrible, but bad in a way compared to what it could have been now, is the effects on Steve. Yes, he looks small. Yes, he looks skinny. And they've done a great job for back then. I completely agree with that. But I think nowadays they could have improved it. That's the only thing I'm going to say. But the visuals throughout the movie were really good. So guys, my rating system is really bad, good or totally awesome. And fingers crossed, yet we haven't had a movie under good. Will this be bad or really bad? Let's get straight into it. So my rating is going to be a 7.5 out of 10, which makes this a good movie. This movie was really good. I really liked the way that they brought all these actors and actresses together. I think this was a team movie. I really did like the director's aspirations in this movie, but there was a few faults with this movie. That's why it's not a totally awesome movie. I really do think this is a good movie. I don't think this is outstanding. I think it was quite slow to begin with, and a lot of people would agree with this being a good movie. I think this was just about better than Thor, because Thor had a lot of potential and it didn't reach that potential. This reached its potential more than Thor did. So guys, that is my official rating. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Smash that thumbs up if you did, as well as comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you're new here on the road to 100 subscribers, hopefully reaching that by Avengers Endgame, and you don't want to miss the journey to Avengers Endgame. Don't forget guys, on Tuesday the Avengers movie review will be uploaded. You don't want to miss that as well. So guys, I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time on Talking with Jay Springer.